सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। यस्य प्रसादादहमेव विष्णु मय्येव सर्वं परिकल्पितं च इत्थं विजानामि सदात्मरूपं तस्याङ्घ्रिपद्मं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यं। सप्रयोजनदातेषां स्वप्ने विप्रतिपद्यते तस्माद् आद्यन्तवत्वेन मिथ्यैव खलु ते स्मृता। Now the Purvapakshi says, but in the waking state experiences there is prayojanam. Saprayojanada means there is prayojanam. The food that I have in the morning fills my stomach. But this food is not enough to satisfy my dream hunger. The dream, viruddhyade, vipratipadyade, it is contradicted in deep sleep, in dream. What prayojana is there in the waking state is contradicted. It is not prayojanam in the dream state. Is it not? For the dream hunger, dream food alone is going to satisfy the hunger, not the wake. So you get up from the sleep and say, I am feeling very hungry. You cannot bring food from the dream state. You have to eat food from the waking state only. The waker must have waking food only for satisfying the waker's hunger. It is vipratipadyate. It is not, it is contradicted in the... So there is no prayojanam in the dream state. So hence it is not, they are not equal. Samanyam of both are being said there. It is not equal. There is prayojanam in the dreams, in the deep sleep state. In the waking state. There is no prayojanam in the... That waking food will not satisfy the dream hunger. So that is a vipratipadyate. It is contradicted. Hence you cannot say both are equal. But that is not true. The argument is wrong. What is wrong? We are comparing prayojana of the dream state and the deep sleep state. Is that clear? Now there is prayojanam in the waking state. But there is, with the same food is not, there is no prayojanam in the dream state. So how can you say tatha as it is in dream, in the waking state? We cannot say. They are not on an equal level. Is it not? For which what is the answer of the Siddhanti? In other words, there is prayojanam in the dream state when there is the dream food. Is it clear? How can you say there is no prayojanam? Prayojanam is equal to the dream and the waking state. Only thing is the food should be dream food. Here it will be waking food. The waker cannot be satisfied with the dream food. The dreamer cannot be satisfied with the waker's food. That is all. But prayojanam is not there, you can't say. Saprayojanada. Prayojana is there both in the dream and the waking state. So they are together. They are alike. This is logically they are proving. Both are of same nature. Only difference is, you do not bring in the food from another level to this level. Then it doesn't work. So there is prayojanam for the dreamer also with the dream food. There is prayojanam for the waker with the waking food. Is it clear? Saprayojanada tesham swapne vipratipadyate. But what is prayojanam in the waking state is not prayojanam in the dream state, is the Upurva Pakshi's contention. Vipratipadyate. Tasmad adyantavattvena mithyaiva kalute smrutaha. So that is mithya only. Both are mithya only. Both have got the same. If you say prayojanam is there in the waking state and not no prayojanam, even there prayojanam. Both are mithya. Both are mithya. You may say, but that is not the rule. You may want many things. Without food also I must become. That is a different thing. That is your wish. You understand? What is happening only we are analyzing, not what can happen. Both are mithya. Mithya in the sense? Why? Because they are mithya only, it doesn't satisfy. If it is real, then at all times it should be true. But it is not true at all times. In the dream state, it is not true. That waking experience is not true. So there is mithya, both are mithya. It's vice versa also. Vice versa also. Hence it is not true, says here. Objection is your statement that objects in the waking state are illusory, like those in the dream, is not valid, says the objector. For objects in the waking state like food, drink, vehicles, etc. are seen to have the capacity to serve useful purposes like causing appeasement of hunger, thirst, etc. or doing the work of providing conveyance. This is not so in the case of objects in dream. Therefore, your statement that objects in the waking state are as illusory as those in dream is mere imagination. This is what the Purva Pakshi says. You are saying that dream is as equivalent to waking state is wrong. Reply is, we say no. Why? Because that capacity to serve useful purpose which is seen in the waking state is contradicted in the dream. That waking food cannot satisfy the dream hunger. A man in the waking state eats, drinks, feels satisfied, has appeased his thirst. As soon as he sleeps, he finds himself in dream as afflicted with hunger, thirst, etc. The king who goes to sleep can dream that he is a beggar. Is it not? Like Janaka did. Or contradicted. In the same way, therefore it is seen that objects in the waking state are contradicted in dream. For this reason, we think that objects in the waking state are also illusory like those in dream, and this cannot be doubted. And if you put the dream food cannot satisfy the waker's hunger, and the waker's food cannot satisfy the dream hunger. So both are on equal footing, meaning thereby what? If Swapna is unreal, Swapna experience is Mrisha, then waking experience is also Mrisha. Because they have the same level of reality or unreality, whatever is reality or unreality. Now both the states are having a beginning and end. Andavattu Bhalam Tesham. Both the states are traditionally known as illusory and which is accepted for many thousands of years now like this. But I object. Can object. What is accepted for many thousands of years? By the mere usage, it has become the truth. Is it not? By mere usage for many, many years. Time-tested reality. Now he says here, objection is taken on the ground that objects in Jagrat serve useful purposes, yield some concrete results like appeasing hunger, etc., while objects in dream do not serve with that purpose. There is thus no similarity between the two states, and therefore objects in Jagrat are not illusory like those in dream. Saprayojanada in the Kariga is explained by Anandagiri as Padaparyandatvam, capacity to yield concrete, Phalaparyandatvam. Phalaparyandatvam means capacity to yield concrete fruit or result. The reply of the Siddhantini is that Saprayojanada, capacity to yield concrete result or serve useful purpose in Jagrat, is contradicted in Swapna and vice versa. In other words, the Saprayojanada of both Jagrat and Swapna has a beginning and end. That capacity of being useful in Jagrat does not exist in Swapna and vice versa. On account of beginning and end being thus equally there in both Jagrat and Swapna, the objects in both states are illusory. They put it very simply, that is, the Swapna experiences have prayojana for the dreamer. The waking experiences have got prayojanam for the waker. So their prayojanam is common. He put it in a very simple way. So it is common. And since both have got prayojanam, saprayojanada is a common characteristic of both dream and deep sleep. I mean a dream and waking state. So if you say dream is unreal, illusory perception, then waking also is illusory perception. That's all. That is all we are trying to prove. Don't go beyond the, what do you call, we have got something, sadhya vastu, beyond that you don't go. So now he says, truth never changes, the truth never changes its nature. Here, saprayojanatvam of objects in one state changes its nature and is contradicted in another state, and therefore it is mithya. So, that the things have some purpose also in dream is known, but this reading does not bring out the sense intended by the Kariga. So, Kariga says, I don't know, this man does not bring out the way we want it, however, but Gurudev had said yesterday. What? Both have got prayojanada, and hence on the basis of that you cannot say one is not equal to the other, both are equal. Saprayojanada is equal. Apurvam sthani dharmo hi yatha surga nivasinam. The next verse is it? 8th verse. Apurvam sthani dharmo hi yada surga divasinam tanayam prekshade gatva yadaiveham sushikshidaha. All the examples and all Gurudev gave the, what do you say? Sorgavasis. The angels with the flying and all that, he dramatized the whole thing and told you. What is perceived in the dream as sometimes unusually extraordinary, apurvam. Apurvam things are seen and not met with in the waking condition is verily the attribute of the local agent, the dreamer, in that particular state, as is the case of those dwelling in heaven. The dreamer sees those extraordinary things like a well-instructed person in the waking state, who while going to another country sees on the way extraordinary things in that locality. There's nothing wonderful about it, because when you are going from here to what do you call? Gangotri, you will see so many apurva things. So you stick your head out and go on with eyes so big to see. That is not there in the south. It is here in the north. Like that we analyze. We see apurva things even in waking state also we see some apurva things. Particularly when you go from one place to another in that locality. So, the statement that entities in Jagrata and Swapna are similar and therefore entities in Jagrata are illusory is not correct. Why? Because the illustration does not fit in, is not on all the fours. How? Because we do not see in dream the same object only as perceived in the waking state. Then what does one see in the dream? One sees unusually extraordinary things. The other day I told you how the man saw a pink elephant with a mini skirt and high-heeled shoes. That is what apurvam. Have you seen such a thing? No. Have you even considered such a thing? No. That's apurva. You understand? So, he says here, then what does one see in the dream? One sees unusually extraordinary things. One finds himself with 8 hands riding on an elephant. Can see in the dream. With 4 tusks. One perceives other extraordinary things of a like nature in dream. Therefore, objects in Jagrata are real as they are not similar to unreal objects of the dream. So, he says here, the objects are apurvam. What you see in the dream is apurva things. Whereas what you see in the world is real things. There is no unreality about the worldly perceptions, but there is an unreality about the dream perceptions. This is the argument. The illustration therefore does not fit in, and consequently your assertion that objects in Jagrat are illusory like those in dream is not valid. So you don't say that both are same. You are arguing with the Gaudabada now. About what? The dream and the deep and the waking both are fake. Unreal. Both are unreal. And he advances arguments to say that he advances arguments, but we are objecting to it. So if it is not available in the waking state, then they are not on the similar grounds. And if they are not on similar grounds, they cannot have samanya, sadrishyam. And hence one is real, one is unreal. So the Purva Bakshi argues. Reply to that is the Siddhanti, no. You think that objects perceived in dream are extraordinary unlike those in the waking state. That is your argument. We say that they are not self-proved, admitted to be absolutely and independently real. This extraordinary feature is the attribute of the perceiver, the dreamer. The dreamer kalpayadi, because the dreamer is in the mental world and he can see whatever he wants to see. You understand? The sthani dharma is different. The dreamer's sthani dharma is not the sthani dharma of the veka. So, because the two are different, the dreamer is different from the waker, they are seeing different perceptions, different objects. They are seeing dreamer in the state of, just as Indra and other dwellers of heaven have 1,000 eyes as their extraordinary attribute. In the same way, perceiving extraordinary objects in dream is an extraordinary attribute of the dreamer. It is a dreamer's dharma. Because dreamer is nothing but the mind, and the waking mind is the dreamer. You understand? Waking mind is the dreamer. Waking mind is the waker also. That also is said before itself. Waking mind itself first become the waker, then become the dreamer. So, is there a difference in both? There is no difference. Actually speaking, perceiving extraordinary is an temporary Atma, like his own Chedana, conscious nature, but is only a temporary feature of the dream condition. The dreamer sees these extraordinary things in dream only when he goes in the dream state. Extraordinary objects are seen in the imaginations of his own mind when he goes into a state of dream. This is like a man in the waking state going to another region by a well-appointed way and seeing on his way special things belonging to that locality. Just as perception of snake for a rope or a mirage in a place where there is no water is unreal and false, this error is the attribute or mental condition of the perceiver. Similarly, perceiving extraordinary things in dream is only a temporarily associated attribute of the dreamer. It's an extraordinary attribute of the dreamer. So he sees apurva. It has nothing to do with the reality or the unreality of the waker and the dreamer. So, attribute, and as such, dream objects are unreal. For this reason, the illustration of dream given by us is not invalid. Now, just as there is a difference between dream and deep sleep, because in the waking state, we don't see any extraordinary things. Whereas in the dream, we see extraordinary things. Then how can you say dream is equivalent to waking state? They are not identical. Don't think about all this. Then now you give your common sense answer. Anybody can see anything. Even in the waking world, there are extrasensory perceptions. Don't think it is only in the dream. To my mind, it looks like that. There are people who have extrasensory perceptions in all religions, is it not? That if you say you have seen Krishna in the dream, you can also see him in the waking state also. Nothing prevents. You are doing puja and he came and stood there. What prevents? Sthani dharma it is. It is that state which gives rise, that mind in that state is capable of projecting even apurva things for you. Even in the waking state it can happen. That's what I am saying. It can happen even in the waking state, just as it can happen in the dream state. This apurvada is common to both. Wherever there is perception, apurvada is common. You can. Beyond our understanding. So there are many people who come to us and say, I saw in meditation, I saw this. How do you interpret it? Or when I am awake, I was just sitting outside. One lady told me I was just sitting outside and I had a very weird experience. Not weird exactly. She says, I have seen so many golden flowers and silver flowers falling from the sky. Now, it is not a common experience. It's an extrasensory perception. Once in a way, that window peep is allowed to you by the great Lord. And she says, but seeing that I experienced such joy, I cannot explain to Amma, what is that? What can I say? I have never seen such thing. You understand? This is called extrasensory perception. Many people see extrasensory perceptions. So it is a waking state. So then we have to accept. Here Gaudapada says they are both identical. Apurvata is there in the experiences of the dream state, but the dream experiences are nothing but the waking experiences undigested. And the example which Gurudev gave is not at all beautiful. What is it? You ate something and vomited and they are all apurva only. What came in the vomit is apurva. Understand that? This is the mind's mental vritti it is. So, don't tell this, oh Purva Pakshi. We are not carried away by your argument. Says Siddhanti. It can happen even in the waking state, and even if it doesn't happen, it is only the work of the mind. The dreamer, as well as you can go into Manorajyam and see so many things. Gandharva Pattanam. Yeah, we can see. Even the waking experiences can often become apurva. I saw a wonderful thing, we say. That wonderful thing is what? That which cannot be explained by the intellect. That which cannot be explained by the intellect is always wonderful. The 7 wonders of the world. What is the wonder? Why that, what is it? The Leaning Tower of Pisa. It is standing like this. All the laws of mathematics it breaks. Isn't that? The mathematics and physics has a law. What? That the perpendicular from, I don't know what, I forgot my physics taught. Must fall into the center of gravity, then only a thing can stand. Now this is standing for years and thousands of years, thousand years probably, and it has not fallen, though the center of gravity, that perpendicular from the center of gravity is not falling on its base. It's falling somewhere else. It should have fallen long ago. So then we call it wonder. Is it not a waking state? It's a waking state. So Apurvada is there. We will accept like that. Apurvada is there even in the waking state. Apurvada is there in the dream state. Both have Apurvada, so both are. And dream is unreal. We know it when waking up. So, Jagrata also is unreal. When we wake up to the higher, then it is different. Everything changes. Okay. Now, having said that, the object that there is a Visamaya, and all that is not necessary. The terse wording of this Kariga requires filling up many gaps. The commentator writes that there is so many things you have to fill up in that. So you go on thinking about it. And this is observed. Apurva Sthani Dharma. For Apurva is the Sthani Dharma of confesses that the meaning is not clear. And Swapna Drishya is an Apurva thing. It's just a Sthana Mahatmyam. Sthana of what? Of the dreamer. Dreamer Sthana. It belongs to the dreamer. Dream itself means you see Apurva things. That is the idea of a dream. Is it not? When you are dreaming, sometimes in the waking state also you dream. That is why when you see Manorajyam, castles of the mind. And what do you say? Something they say, no? Mind castles we create. That is Sthani Dharma. And even then confesses that the meaning is not clear. So why should it be clear to us who are poor people like us? It is just a Sthani Mahatma. Even in the waking state, untrained men would think it abnormal or impossible that one could fly in a big constellation aeroplane. You tell a villager how the aeroplane flies. That will be greatest Apurva for him. Why? He doesn't know anything about physics and the law of flotation, nothing he knows. So he will say, when railway trains were introduced, the villagers used to run away in fear. Once upon a time. Apurva. So it is Apurva for them, but not Apurva for the educated. Similarly, what is Apurva to some is not Apurva to others. One could fly in a big constellation. So the Vaidadhya of things does not depend upon whether the things are normal or abnormal, but upon whether they are being belied in another state. We are not going to see whether they are normal or abnormal reactions. Let it be anything. But is it happening the same way in both the states? That is all that matters. And it is happening the same way in both the states. Even if a waker is seeing apurva thing, it will be like a dreamer seeing the apurva. So both are identical. Like that he is arguing. Why? How he is seeing? No, nobody asked that question. Okay. Swapna vrittava vitvanda Chetasa kalpidam tvasad. As that is over. Bahishcheto grihidam sad Drishtam vaidadhyamedayoho. Swapna vrittavabi. In dream also, what is imagined what is imagined in the dream? Tu andaschedasa kalpidam. It is kalpidam by the mind. Whatever you are seeing is an imagination of the mind in the dream. I hope no objection to that. Whatever you are seeing in the dream have no reality because it is only a kalpana of the mind. Is there any objection to this definition? No. So, within the mind is considered, in dream also what is imagined within the mind is considered kalpidam, hence asat. To asat. Not there at all. Then how did you see that? It is a kalpidam. By what? By the mind. What is a dream? Some experiences are imagined by the mind, and imagining a dream world and imagining a dreamer, you enjoy the trip. Everything is imagined. The tree is imagined. The what do you call nadi is imagined. Everything is imagined in the dream. So asad. Bahishchedo grihidam sad drishtam vaidadhyamedayoho. So, but in truth, both of them considered as non-existent, and what is perceived in dream outside the mind appears existing, but in truth, both of them are known as unreal. How he is saying is that the Siddhanti refutes the contention of the objector that objects perceived in Jagrat are not similar to those perceived in dream. The dream objects are all kalpidam. So unreal. How can you say the Jagrat objects are also unreal? How are you saying that? On the ground of extraordinary perceived in dream, on the ground of extraordinary objects perceived in dream. He now elaborates on the similarity of objects perceived in Jagrat and Swapna. So far as we are concerned, that only matters. Which one? What is the similarity? Even in the dreaming state, that which is imagined within the mind is mere fancy, mere kalpana, imagination. Within the mind is mere and is known as illusory. As immediately after they are imagined, such fancied things vanish. But in this very state of dreaming, whatever is perceived outside the mind with the help of sense organs like eyes, etc., appear as real to the dreamer. Suppose it is beyond the mind, then it is real. If it is within the mind, if you are seeing from the mind, it is unreal. If you are seeing without the mind, then it is real. I mean, all these are arguments. You don't have to be carried away by them. whatever is perceived, here both of them, what is fancied in the mind and what is seen outside the mind through dream eyes, are undoubtedly known as unreal. He is talking about the dream state. There are two different things in the dream state. What is the two different things? One is kalpana, the kalpana in the dream. The other is, in the dream also, you see things outside. It looks as though you are really seeing it in the outside world. So these both are are undoubtedly known as unreal when you wake up. When you wake up, the dream that you had seen within your mind and the dream that you had seen outside the mind in the outer world, both are unreal because they are not there at all. Want us to go to mental hospital? Or what is your idea? That way you are looking at me. What can I do? Logic is very difficult. You have to be with it. Don't now be in the half sleep state. The upamavalla ulle poi. Yegi bhavadi.
The problem is, Purvavati and Siddharthi are intermixed. So we are not able to find out who is telling what. Who is telling what? That's the problem here.
Okay, we will change that.
Neither the text
No,
nor
the text says, the Siddhartha refutes. The objection is says. Like that it is said. The objector says that objects in Jagrat are not illusory as in the waking state. There is a clear distinction between what is real, what is illusory. This is what the objector says. Now, maybe I didn't bring my other, the real Bhashya, which I will bring from next class. And then we can read from that Bhashya, which is more... Sanskrit Bhashya. Not that. The English, with the English. So, having disposed of the objection on the ground of perceiving extraordinary things in Swapna, the Siddhantin replies to this other objection. We know in the waking state that whatever is fancied internally in the mind and whatever is perceived externally outside the mind, with dream eyes, etc., everything in dream is illusion. Whether you see it outside or inside, what is seen by the mind, kalpana, done by the mind, the Siddhanti is telling this, is unreal, illusory. Here illusory means unreal from the point of view of the waking state. Considering the waking state, it is unreal. For the dreamer, it is very real. Dreamer sees the dream world and it is very real for him. But from the waking point of view, it is unreal. Now, we thus find that even in the dream state, there is a distinction of real and unreal. That which you are seeing andastu and that which you are seeing outside. Whatever is imagined internally in the mind is felt as unreal, and whatever is perceived by sense organs, which sense organs? The dream organs, dream eyes, dream ears, like that, is felt as, and whatever is perceived by sense organs is felt as real. But from the point of view of the waking state, both of them, imagined internally and perceived externally in dream, are illusory. From the waking state. Now he says, similarly, the next Kariga says that the distinction of real and unreal objects in the waking state is similar to that in the dream state, and from the point of view of the highest reality, all things, whether felt real or unreal, in the waking state are illusory. For everything, whether in Jagrat or Swapna, is Chittaspandanam. Chittaspandanam? The movement, the spandanam of the mind, which is said in the next verse. So, let us see the next verse and then come to it. We'll go back into that in the next class. Jagrad vrittavapi tu andaschedasa kalpidam tvasat bahishchedo grihidam sadyugdam vaidadhyametayoho. So in waking state, Jagrad Vrtavapi, even in the waking state, Andaschedasa Kalpidam, if I am imagining something in my mind, it is unreal. Correct? Even in the mind, we do. So that is unreal. And what I see in front of my eyes is Pratyaksha Pramanam is that is real. Consider to this, that is real. This is unreal. In the dream state also same thing. What you are seeing inside the mind is unreal. What you are seeing outside is real. In the waking state also, is it not? Now, in other words, that is more subtle. What you are seeing in the mind in the waking state is subtle. Thoughts, emotions, feelings. Are they not? Is it real? If you ask, is it not real? That is a problem. They both are very, very different. But when I see it in front of my eyes, you say it is real. I saw with these two eyes. My own eyes, not somebody's eyes. The real experiences of Sukha, Dukkha, etc. Of Sukha, Dukkha. Is it unreal? Yeah. Gaudapada says it is unreal, but for us it is real. If you find Samanyam, you tell me. Because if you see difference, then I will have to say they are not same level. We are trying to find out the Samanya. These verses, we will go through again and again. Because it is not clear to me, I don't know whether it is clear to you. So we have to clarify it again. What he means, Gaudapada means by this argument, that both are in the waking state also, whatever is imagined in the mind is unreal. And imagined, Kalpidam only we are talking about, not the real feelings, for example. The real feelings may be there for some people. Of love, of hate, of the raga, of dvesha, they may be real for the waker. For the waker. Not even for another person, for me. It is real. Whatever is perceived outside the mind with the help of sense organs, in other words, you give more reality to what is seen by the sense organs. With these eyes I have seen. You give more reality to that. Whereas I cannot see my mental vrittis with these eyes. Is it not? It doesn't have, it's unreal we feel sometimes. Sometimes we know it is real because it gives me trouble. It makes me suffer or enjoy. Then it is not real, unreal. I wish it is unreal, but it is not. But in the case of dream, both are unreal. What is seen in the mind, what is seen outside. That is unreal. Now we have to prove what we see in the waking state, in the mind and outside the mind. Both are unreal. That is what we have to establish. Only if we establish that, we can say the dream is equivalent to That is what he is trying to establish. Both the things distinguished as real and unreal in the waking state deserve to be properly held as illusory. See, it has to be held as illusory. This distinction of real and unreal is found even in the dream state. Whatever is imagined internally in mind is felt as unreal, and whatever is perceived by sense organs outside the mind is felt as real by the dreamer also, and when he is in the dream state. But from the point of view of the waking state, both of them are illusory. What is illusory? What? Similarly, objects, whether felt as real or unreal in Jagrat, are illusory. This is what Gaudapada wants to establish. Which is not very easy. First of all, our what can you say? That Markada Mushti is there. We are holding on to our whatever we know with the fist of a monkey. Never let's go. Gaudapada, 5 Gaudapadas can come, but it won't go. There's a Markata Mushti in. So, the mind is not totally available for study. The mind is full of prejudices, ideas that you have gathered in many, many years. So, to remove it, when you are cleaning a vessel, taking it from the attic in your grandmother's house, you will know how difficult it is to bring it to its original color. First you have to wash it, then you have to wash it, then you have to wash 100 times with so many. Now they have brought Pidambari to wash. You understand? Maybe because they put Pidambari. Okay, now whatever it is, just keep it in your mind. Don't be in a hurry, this thing. We will go slowly only in this. We don't have to rush. And Gaudapada does not talk of different relative realities, but talks only of the Paramartha Satya, which we have seen already. The highest reality, and conspicuously ignores discussing distinctions of relative realities elaborated in later Vedanta. He therefore says that from the point of view of the highest reality, all entities, whether felt as real or unreal, and whether in Jagrad or Swapna, are only Chitta Spandidam. It is only the Spandanam of the mind. Chitta Spandanam. This is why, two people were arguing, the Zen Buddhists. And they were arguing among themselves and fighting with each other like you all fight now. Only you don't come to blow, I hope. Like that they were fighting. They said, when the mango tree shakes, the rain comes. One fellow said. The other fellow said, no, you are wrong. When the rain comes, the mango tree shakes. Which is right now? They are Yugapat. They are happening together. So, far away the teacher was walking and coming, the Zen teacher. So, they asked the teacher, who is right? When the mango tree shakes, the rain comes. Or when the rain comes, the mango tree shakes. Which is correct? So the teacher said, both are wrong. Neither the mango tree is shaking, nor the rain is coming. Your minds are spandana, in spandana. No, mind is seeing all this and creating its own ideas. Like Ashtavakra told to Janaka, you are neither a king nor a... Both are seeing only. That I am a king, he knew in the waking state. That I am a beggar, he knew in the dream state. Now, which is the right understanding? He wants to know. The teacher says, you are neither a king nor a... They are all superimpositions you have put on yourself. You are Atman, the self. So I see the kinghood in me. So will you think over this? Saprayojanada and Apurvada. Will you think over it and share your thoughts with us? From somebody, the nearest to truth we can. Here, even the Bhashya has not satisfied us. Now I'll go and see in Shankara's Bhashya. And the other Gaudapada one book is there. That I will see. Only thing is, what I have understood is, dream also has two ways of perception. Waking also has two ways of perception. Both are unreal. One is imagination. One, though we are seeing, that we think it is real or is the wrong perception. That is the wrong perception. that is all this is real is the wrong perception. It's Turiastic.
We feel like that.
Because we must always remember Gaudapada is talking from his experience. So we cannot just dismiss it. With our little intellect, we can't dismiss a great Mahatma. You know, when he is not writing the book, he will be in that Brahmi Sthiti and lying on that rock, I believe. That when you go to Badrinath, you see the Gaudapada rock, where he used to be reveling in the truth. Such a man is written this. Don't think, whatever, each word has got some tremendous meaning which we are missing us. That does not mean he has not experienced it. He is, in fact, one of the Bhashyas says that Gaudapada is talking 80% from his own experience. The rest only is giving yukti. The yukti that he is advancing to us is fully his experience. This is what some commentator writes, which I tend to believe, because great men like Gaudapada are not born now and then. Okay, so read again and again.
पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति।